Bum, ba-dum. All right, it is time to continue the highlight, the climax of Ori's Bizarre Adventure. Dum ba da dum ba dum bum. Dum bum ba dum bum ba dum. Dum ba dum ba da dum ba. The keyboard display is so easy. Maybe I just have to learn better how the controller display works, and that will also be easy. Okay. Okay, good. Seems good. Oh, I have so many save files. I think this. No. Yeah, I wanted a save file before activating the final escape is the thing. So, let me check here. What progress did I make on these respectively? Like, what is this? Bum bum. La la. Ba dum da dum bum. Oof, hopefully I still have memory about all the details. At least know my bash pattern still. So this save file has activated the escape. This right here. What about this? Oh, it's not 100%, yeah. And it's also not all pickups. So this will not have activated the final escape. No, we will break a wall. No room for doubts. Okay, so this is what I want to use. This is just a dummy copy file. Drip. Yeah, so right now this is closed until you open the escape. That's the problem. That is exactly the problem. Alright, so I'll work off this here. But I would like to go into Valley for the lineup using this. So it might be that, like, I don't know, where are all of these? This file could be useful, I'm not entirely sure, probably not. Let's just keep it somewhere, now I can overwrite files freely. Burp. So this moves to Valley. Sorry, Ravine of Death. Also welcome Spines, hello there. La la dum bum ba dum. I didn't start that very well. Let's go over to the right a little, because I do think the bird is a bit to the right. Maybe I can optimize to where the bats start, doesn't matter. Yes! I can. Bling! Alright, so this is what I'll work off. This has not activated the final escape. And now let's get good at the warp shot thing again. In fact, let's get better at it than ever before. Let's get super consistent at it, because I will need it. Dum ba dum ba. Dum ba dum ba da dum dum ba da dum dum. It's all still so clear in my memory. That's a huge advantage when doing daily progress. This time my tea didn't turn out that well. I've made tastier tea before. Alright, so controller please. Bup, bup. Higher up. Like that. I can't even see the projectile, it's probably just behind Sunstone. It's 12:07 on the clock. Almost 08. So let's do one extra bash and enter at 39. 39. That was the extra bash. Dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, da. Let's go. Ho 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 ho! Would you look at this? Such consistency. Well, let's not do claims too early. Okay, so this is a lot harder to see now because there's a black fog wall. Let's just do the 4 double bashes I did last time. Go back and forth a little. So I could also... Oh, actually I can activate the escape right now. And then just return. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, then this actually is not bad at all. I just have to get one more warp shot in here as I would have to usually anyway. Cool. Ba-dum, ba. This is Warp Shot Requiem. That's probably a reference to something, Jojo, now that I think about it. So now I go to Sorrow. And I'll actually want a copy of the save file for the now following warp shot attempt. So I guess let's move this one over so that I have 2 slots of space. Just do that warp shot thing again, aim high enough up, that's the secret. That's pretty far right, let's see if this works. Should, yeah, should work. 12 on the clock. Okay, let's do 2 extra bashes and then enter at 44. 44 and 2 extra bashes. Whoa! Where's my bash buffer at? Yeah. Blind Forest bash buffers are really short compared to Will of the Wisps ones if you don't hold down the button. Alright, but I have copied the save file. We can just try again. Oh, this time... Oh no. I think I'm gonna reset that. The shot is kinda far right. That's not my usual positioning. Yeah, this is much more familiar. On the single warp shot I can reset easily here. Pretty far away from 11. But this situation was always really hard to salvage. Let's try the 2 extra bashes and enter at 42 in this situation. 42, 2 extra bashes. Again? Huh. Bash buffers are so short. It's terrible. Gotta time that more tightly. Whoops. La, la. That's pretty low though. Perfect. Alright, so 2 consecutive attempts I failed to catch the mortar shot. And I think in both cases I bashed too early. Close to 29, do 1 extra bash, enter at exactly 15, flat. It's the first time I'll enter on a flat minute. Consistent setups. Alright. So this is my second time going through here like this. Now I just want to see whether the wall is broken. There's no progress I can gain from this, it's just about the knowledge. I have to know whether the wall is broken in order to proceed. Da, 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 dum. Da, 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 dum. Da, dum, da, 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 da. It is! Well, let's go. This was the progress I wanted to get today. Within like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 hours. But I'll take getting it in 15 minutes, you know? Let's go. Da, 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 dum, da. And now I can't proceed because there are 2 walls here, not 1. So this save file right here, this is where I have broken the wall and started the final escape. Okay. So that's just strictly better than this save right here. This is so confusing. Okay, yeah. 113. So I don't need this anymore, and I don't need this anymore, and I also don't need this anymore. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Very valuable save file right here. Now, I guess I can try to start the next step today. Da-dum, ba-da-dum. Now I have broken this wall, but I want 2 projectiles in here. How does this terrain look exactly? Could there be an angle that flies in here and all the way, like, just goes through here diagonally? Does not hit the ceiling, flies all the way through this room? I load that about here, so I'd have to travel this distance. No, I can't do that, because obviously my spider shot is not gonna be faster than the other spider shot I bring. I guess something like horizontal here would be great. Like, no, this isn't the best tool for this. The active layer is not visible. Yeah. Create a new layer. Second shot. Could go from Ginso. Maybe. So much censoring, you're not allowed to see all my nodes. So that would be one concept. However, I'm not sure where... No, where... Like, there's a semi-solid here. That doesn't work. Okay. I guess not then. Well, the next cardinal angle would be way elsewhere. Oh no. So the thing with this is... this distance right here is just shorter than... like... this distance, so I'm not sure I would be able to catch that. Bring a projectile from Sorrow to Ginso and launch it back. Yeah, but I want a short setup. Not sure Ginso is far enough. That's also true. I have to do the other setup. Although it looks like similar to this, and this worked. So that might actually not be the problem. Well, in terms of loading in, the most reliable place is definitely this right here. So I could just try to bring 2 projectiles right into the starting room. And then load them both in at the same time. That might be the most reasonable thing to set up. I could bring that one... Wait, I have cardinals for this. So I know that this distance here works time-wise. So I don't think this distance would work time-wise from here. Could start it over here in Misty. That would be a pretty long setup though. Where's the next spider here? That's also not great. These are not great cardinals though. You have other ideas? Not sure how much I want to figure it out on my own. I figured so much out on my own. I would be pleased to figure out the rest as well. Although I'm sure there's myriads of ideas here. Forlorn? No, it's the other cardinals anyway. Bum, ba-dum. The spider does just shoot 2 slow projectiles, so like maybe there's also a setup where I just... Oh no, there's not a lot of time. Shoot 2 projectiles from here immediately? The advantage would be it's an extremely fast setup, and it would simplify the process of timing it, because they would just come after each other every time. But they'd have to be really close to each other. La 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 la. How would I even think about that? Not that? That was a fake bash, in fact. That doesn't look strictly impossible, does it? La 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 la. Oh my god, they're just inside each other. Yeah. I mean, that would be... Is that useful? I think that would work if they're just inside each other. I can separate them later. Okay, I want to investigate warp sharding 2 at once from here. Because that seems like a fast setup if it works. I don't need to take that damage. Destroy one by bashing the other? I don't think so, because during the bash windup, Ori is not actually inside the shard, but always next to it. This seems complicated to set up for. Especially because of the thing where there's one more projectile than I want. So I guess I could start by getting that out of the way. Da-dum. Oh no. I have to get creative for that one, for sure. What about this old setup? It takes a lot of damage. But the lineup angles sure are nice. I like the thing where I break the middle shard through iframes, but I would then want to catch the right shard, not the left shard. And also I want to catch both of them higher. The thing is, this would have fast retries, because I would do everything in this same location. There's a lot of advantages to this, if it works. If only those spikes were a little less menacing, huh? I wish the bash would just pause my iframes. Just how convenient would that be? La 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 la. Oh no. The middle projectile is always in the way. This will make me catch the middle projectile, right? Yes. I think on the spikes is just not enough space. I mean, that hit could be good. Well, doesn't seem very reliable though. Da da dum ba dum ba dum. That general direction, maybe? But like, those would be too low. Hmm. Oh, okay. The thing I did on keyboard does super not work on controller. That's uncomfortable. Like, way too low. Great that I can get 2 projectiles, but their positioning would have to be pretty precise. La 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 la. Hmm. That'll be a difficult setup to figure out. Second projectile can be higher up. But there's that pesky wall. It's actually not possible for a projectile to be too high up here. As long as it doesn't like crash into this, of course. It can only be too low with this setup and break on the ground. The highest possible projectile I can still catch. Yeah, crashing in the wall into the wall would certainly be an issue. This like would be good. If only I could get consistent height with it, but I guess that's the closest thing I have. La 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 la. If the second projectile is a bit far to the right initially, that's not actually a problem. I'm not gonna be able to prevent the first one from traveling until I bash the second one anyway. Dum, da, dum. Whoops. I don't even know if that would be high enough though. I wouldn't want to start off the wall. I'd prefer to start like here in front of the spike. La, la, la. Okay. Now there's a bit of a damage problem here. Dum, ba, dum, ba, dum, da. La 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 la. Whoa. But what do I do on controller though? Like, can you do... What happens if you use the stick and D-pad on the controller together though? Wait, how do you like do that? It like accepts both inputs if I hold right stick, left D-pad, or he stands still. Yeah, definitely doesn't work like mouse aim plus keyboard movement. Maybe something like that. La la la. Normalized angles are nice and all, but they don't solve all problems. Whoops. And controller is not very good at doing that initial bash of the spider consistently. I mean, obviously I could literally do like I can't pause during that one. That's possible, of course. Bit painful though. I don't want to do that many swaps. I don't think the normalized controller angles are actually good for this, because they aren't the angles I want. Controller would have to take over here. That would be way too late. Not sure the timings will work out at all. In terms of how fast I get to the teleporter. Too high. Whoops. One of those broke. Pretty sure, yeah. That's gonna be something. Dum, ba, da, dum, ba. So that's the first one, yeah, the front one. The front one is too high up. That means here I have to wait a bit longer before catching this projectile. Like that, I don't know, maybe the second one was too low. But otherwise, that was getting somewhere. It'll be difficult to control how high or low the lower one is, though. Yeah, the second one is too low. Okay. But if the second one is too low, there's a conundrum here. Because then I'd have to catch the second one sooner. And that doesn't work for the first one. Or maybe there's just a perfect timing for the both of them. La, la, la. Okay. So I took damage there and was too slow because of it. Heights are getting pretty good though. So if I angle more right here, it travels down less. But it also has to travel more right again. This probably doesn't make a meaningful difference. La 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 la. Dum da dum ba dum ba da da. Again, so I have to... Yeah, those are pretty good though. Take great care if I bash towards the spider that I don't hit the spikes. Oh, or maybe it's unavoidable with this setup and I have to do something different. Presumably I can have the second projectile farther to the right to avoid this. Okay. Lineups are a bit different now. I'll have to adjust for that. Yeah, then I don't get hit by those spikes. Okay. I mean, I guess I just try this. 46. Almost 47. Let's do an extra bash and enter at 18? Is that 18? It should be 18. No! I missed the pause after teleport. That's not good. 18 with one extra bash. They might have just broken before the Terra unloaded though. Okay, so there were two projectiles around. There definitely were two projectiles around. But it was very black and I'm not entirely sure what happened. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened. Let's try a round more. Maybe both got in here? I do think so. Oh, that looks painful. A little too high. Might be worth practicing traveling with two projectiles. Yeah, probably a good idea. I don't anticipate that's gonna be the problematic point of all this, but I'll just have a save there, right? Somewhere? No. Because I don't need it anymore, that's fair. La 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 la. Why does this lantern swing so much? I have no clue. Gravity is weird in this game, isn't it? Doesn't it look like the grounded bash has heavier gravity on the frog than the aerial one somehow? I'm not sure what exactly I'm observing there. It just looks different. I do enjoy how there's always a soul link here. 1, 2. So here I'm comfortably on the ground. Well, if they travel in the same direction, I don't really have to do anything. That's different from having one. Now if I want to redirect them... Oh, that's when it gets a bit more tricky. Yeah, when I want to change their aim. Let me get them back together. Same direction, just as usual. Change of direction? Need some kind of strategy. Oh my god! Got bamboozled! It displayed the wrong one as the bash target. Mostly because I want to avoid creating that big a distance between them. Yeah, it is pretty difficult to turn them at all. Oops. We'll always grab the one that's closer to you. It's not complex. Just it's hard to control which one you're closer to because you can't influence how strong your bash momentum is. Okay, well, now there's also just the lanterns in the way. Also, bashing these downwards is pretty difficult, because these are the slow projectiles. Yeah, you literally lose them if you just bash straight down. It's rough. I don't think I have to do down, though. In the final escape? No. Not straight down. Just need some zigzags. Yeah, before the lantern room, but like diagonal is good enough for that. And for the fire, I might want to, but then I have the wall to stabilize myself. That also helps. Okay, that doesn't work to change direction. Hey, I changed direction. Get out of here. Let's go to the left. Ow. Da-dum, da-dum, ba-dum, ba. Okay, let's... Well, I don't have to like turn around. That's not a maneuver I have to do. Let's say I want to go up now. And that's pretty tricky. So I'm guessing there is a distance between the two projectiles that is the most convenient for me. But one of the problems is the initial rock that drops. I'm not sure how I'll... Actually, that's a really huge problem. I don't think this setup is feasible. Because I don't think I can get two projectiles through the falling rock at the entrance unless I have them like perfectly stack onto each other. So that's a huge disadvantage of this setup. I guess I could try to have them perfectly on top of each other. But how would I get two projectiles perfectly on top of each other? Oh, yeah, okay, so there I again had the problem of catching another one, which I did not intend to catch there. But let's say I want to have these on top of each other. Do a little up, a little down. Yeah, something like that could work to get through the door. Now, which one do I want to redirect first? This is like fine, say I want to go down again. Okay, it feels like I'm starting to have control over this. Like, they don't always have to be really close to each other, so I have to get them more close together now. There's some tight corridor coming up. Okay, I underestimated the distance there that I'd need to bring between them. Sometimes you just have to bring distance between the two. You can't do all maneuvers while they are close together. Like, now that they're so distant, it's gonna be a lot easier. Oh, they weren't actually distanced enough, huh? Yeah, you need a lot of distance. If they have enough distance, it's pretty straightforward to change angle. So let's get a feeling for the distance that I need there. So presumably this isn't yet enough, but I can like take this one a bit until there's more distance. Okay, don't bash straight into the other one. Okay, there are a lot of complexities to this. For sure. Go straight, please. Bring some distance first, though. Maybe a little more. Okay. And you follow. Straight, please. Go up a little bit. Could also bring distance like this, just artificially. Yeah. Turn around, there's a wall! Wait, why? What? What happened there exactly? Oh, it's weird. Which one do I have now? Yeah, I figured I'd have that one. Can't betray me. Filthy game. Okay, sure. I'm gonna need some practice in the actual Terra. It's not gonna be that useful to just do stuff in Valley forever. Yeah, I think one's too low. Yeah, that's too low, I'm pretty sure. Whoops. La 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 la. Oh, hey, that was not a good angle. I'm gonna destroy it, probably. Nope, just barely not. Cool. The spider swing is a little different on this setup. I'll have to get used to that. Far away from 23, 2 extra bashes. 54. 54, 2 extra bashes. Wait, did I cut out a double bash there? That wouldn't be good at all. I think I did. I have no idea. Whoops. That was scuff all around. Dum ba dum ba. That was good. Neat. Six? Oh, six. Okay. The time window on this is tighter than ever, with 2 projectiles. I only see one. Not sure where the other one went. So now I triggered the fire, so I wouldn't have as much time as I might like here to get both the projectiles through there. Because I think if there's any stall here, I risk the projectile breaking. I'm not entirely sure what breaks the projectile there though. Dum ba da da dum. Okay, this is definitely the toughest spot. I want to get them both through there and the rock falls. Yeah, that's difficult. Then here I think this is just fine. Unless when the laser blocks me, that would be pretty terrible actually. It probably will. Huh. Oh my god, there's so many spots where Kuro blocks something. That's a ton of problems. So there's a completely alternate approach here, where I do what I did with this, and I just fire a shot that breaks a wall at the perfect time, right? That's also an option. I just do the same thing again. Maybe that's actually better. Doesn't really matter which one here. Let me make a debug file for science. So right now none of the relevant walls are loaded. I go through here, I go through here, I go through here. Oh wow, when does this load actually? As you go past the lantern. A bit later. A little bit later. Some steps past the lantern is when both of those load. Just think about how great a projectile from the right would be here. That would be so good, because you wouldn't even really have to time it. You could just catch it anywhere. Would also be pretty cool if there's just a projectile coming in here. So that might be worth looking at again as well. Yeah, then the alternative is breaking one of these directly. Like, if you took a vertical shot into this, for instance, there would be some lenience. Same if you made a horizontal projectile into here. Well, why would I do this horizontal projectile if I could just do this horizontal projectile instead? Then I would definitely do this horizontal projectile. So either vertical here or horizontal there. Let me note down where those walls are. Bum, ba-dum, dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum. Second final escape. Barrier. How do I zoom the other direction like this? So this I would try to hit at -9531. Or I would try to hit this one pretty high up. That gives me more lenience, like here or something. -2512. Those are my options. Okay. Where's the music, by the way? Oh, I know. Let's look around the map a little bit. So if I do the vertical projectile, wall cardinals, let me just, yeah. Second wall cardinals. It's not gonna be perfect, of course. Third wall cardinals. And I would go from Here maybe? Spider sack? I feel like that wouldn't be enough distance. Same problem here, honestly. For the wall, that might just not be enough distance. So that might be why I fire it into the top instead. La, la, la. Because this just loads in pretty late, is the thing. I have a long way to travel. Yeah, no. Okay, so I don't think breaking the second wall vertically works. There's really long diagonal projectiles, but that would then be pretty precise again. For this wall, it's also the distance. That's even shorter. Ba-dum. This would have such a long setup time though. Because I'd have to warp shot it to there in the first place. No, that's just bad. These are awkward. Not sure about a good setup here. La, 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 la. I do think the double warp shot thing I'm doing right now would work. It might just be more difficult than other possibilities. This would probably be less difficult, but attempts would take 5 times as long, and then that's just not worth it. Ba-dum-ba. Breaking this one would be preferable, generally. So like, if I really just need the time, I could shoot this from Forlorn pretty easily. And then I'd have a whole bunch of time before it goes there. But then it's this diagonal, and then I have to hit the timing really precisely. Then I'd want to normalize the bashes here again. That wouldn't be a problem though. Calculate the time difference. And check the in-game timer while I'm in the air here to know when I want to go right. Oh no, actually it would travel through here. No, this cannot work, because obviously I'd have to load this first. That angle can't work. Bottom right could work though. Spider over here or something. Ba-da-dum. Maybe? So one option I think is bring a spider projectile over here and try for this diagonal angle to break this wall. Then you never have to juggle 2 projectiles. I'm not confident about the Skinso idea. Seems difficult time-wise. It might be up here by the time you get there, so you would be able to catch it still then. But it's such a long setup, and like that's not much better than just the double projectile from here, which is also a possibility. I do think that would work. So this would be a significant time investment to figure out the setup, the exact position, and especially the exact timing. Since it would be such a significant time investment, I wanna try around a bit with the juggle before doing that. Here? Definitely both high enough. Catching them is really gonna be an issue though. Let's enter at 44. .44. Ba-dum, da-dum, ba. Zero shots? It's not a lot. I don't know. I don't like the juggle. I feel like the juggle would take an extreme amount of attempts. I'd like to try with this here. Alright, so first, exact position. This is about the second barrier at this position. I already know that. So now I want to find the position around here. In swamp entry, where you drain the swamp. That lines up. Wait, no. Yeah, 40, 38, this. Alright, this is a science fire. Separate from all my actual progression efforts. Spiteful bog. Sure. Because of how spitefully the Ringo redirects never work, or... all these spikes, but that shouldn't be a problem. -9. So I'm like, whoa. 668x away, that's a lot. 137 should be my Y then. Huh, sometimes the drawings are so inaccurate. Is it like here? Origin, swamp drain. Let's say I do -137. That would be 668 away. So I would want to be... I'm in positive? Oh, I am in positive. Did I even account for that before? 68, 659. Whoops. Wrong button. Imagine having a self-destruct button. and just accidentally pressing it. Anyway, what was I doing? 6. The spikes make the orange font hard to read. Anyway, 1, 3, 7. Dum. I wanna be a bit further right though. Say at 663. 4 over. Then it would be... Still have to look up. Sure. Then it would be like here, in this space between the two huge roots or whatever. This is where I would angle it from. And then about the timing... Where's the spider that would fire this projectile? That would be this spider. Um, 5, 7, 2... No, 5, 2, 7... Come on, camera. 5, 2, 7, 1, 5, 3. Dum ba dum da da dum bum bum bum. So in order to measure the distance, I want the distance between the spider and this. Dum ba da 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 dum bum ba. Yeah. And these numbers are not the same because it's from the spider, not from where I fire. This is 869. Cardinal from 2 by the measurements of this, that should be 135 degrees. Distance from spider is this. Let's just make a save here. And activate projectile tracking on it. Alright, and now I can see. Dum ba da dum ba da dum. Bit of a longer setup, unfortunately. Nice. Oh, there's a convoluted soft lock prevention here. That could be a problem. Okay. Yeah, if you go there, you just kinda get warped. I don't know why, but apparently it's a convoluted soft lock prevention. Dum ba da dum ba dum bum bum ba dum bum bum bum. So that's like a little annoying, but okay. I also have to do this on controller. But yeah, I can angle this projectile before hitting the convoluted softlock prevention. Nice. In practice, I'd probably just get rid of this frog on the save file. Dum ba da 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 dum ba da dum ba da dum ba da. This isn't perfect, but I think it's good enough for my science. So yeah, can break out of there. Now it's getting closer to the spider, now farther away. Then I would be doing this setup. And I want to load those walls when this distance right here has increased to 869. Ba. Those satisfying perfect angles. Oh, basically exactly at 21. Let's enter at 52 then. 52 is what I said. God, feels so good how consistent this warp shot is now. Be very careful through here. I think mostly it's don't get ahead of the projectile, actually. Yeah, that's probably it. Well, my spider projectile is rapidly approaching 869. I don't think this will work in time. No. I couldn't have loaded that fast enough. Yeah, now it broke. Well, I can't go farther away. So, like, I guess Forlorn is farther away. But this angle can't work. No. Okay, so it's not possible to just warp shot something into breaking this wall. There's just no point that's further away on the map. There probably would be a slower spider shot, but not from those spiders there. Yeah. Dum. Okay. Not with these angles. Yeah, okay, fair. Like, obviously you could have a much farther away origin here. Not with these angles. And then same story here, like that's not the big difference. Same story here as well. This would be another story. Okay. But I also think I understand better now what makes projectiles break. It's if you get ahead of the projectile. And Kuro blocks the way after you come through. Yeah, I figured. That was not in fact a good angle. Look at how close those grazed the ceiling, wow. Huh. Okay, let's just enter at 59. Not sure that'll work. Let's see. Bum, ba-da-da-dum. Yeah, 59 might be kinda late, but let's try it. Oh my god! Well, there was no projectile here anyway. I don't really understand why there would be no projectile. I feel like at least one should make it through if the other one breaks because the turret doesn't unload in time. It's a bit weird. There's just 0 projectiles. It's probably too high. Nope. Like, here I could understand if the projectile in the front broke, because it just didn't unload in time. But the one in the back should still be there. Almost 14, enter at 55, 45, thank you very much. 45, do 1 extra bash. Da, 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 da. But, like, 0 is weird. Am I placing them too high now? Does that make them break earlier or something? Maybe they are now breaking on this ceiling right here. Because they're actually a bit too high. And they need to go below this. That could be. Da, 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 da. Let me look at this with the projectile tracker, actually. So that's too low for sure. Whoops. So these are some very high shots, as I usually use them here. Do they just break immediately? Or what? This would be an enter at 17. It's one extra bash. Oh yeah, one of them broke at least. But only one. That's still weird. This should just work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Almost 47. That would be 18. Yeah. Not sure. I missed my extra bash that I was supposed to do. Cool. So let's fire one through there, fire the other through there, and guide them carefully. Unfortunate that I have the projectile tracker up. This is useless for me, I'm not using it anyway, but obviously I have it up. Because I wanted to investigate whatever went wrong. But still, good practice. There's so many useful floors and walls here. This is way easier than the open valley area. Except for this part. This part is still terrifying. Oh no! Did I trigger it too early? Or am I fine? I can't see! Come on! The fake bash though. Okay. Well, at least it didn't matter that I had the projectile track up. Whew. Okay. So I had that problem before. So I think at this area I have to shoot the projectiles into there, maybe aim one at the wall directly if possible, And then just stall a bit here, wait for the projectile to travel and then follow it, as far as that's possible. Alright, so yeah, this can definitely work. Let's do it. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Also, that was a really good first attempt at the double juggle. Ba-dum. Almost 15. I'll just enter at 46 and see if that works. No Baneling! 46, 46. Nice fake bash. Ba-dum. Okay, let's do like one extra bash and enter at 44. 44, one extra bash. Dum da dum ba dum da. So I'm guessing one shot got destroyed before the area deloaded. And then I also timed it wrong. Bum ba dum ba. Kinda close to 14. Yeah, one bash, 45, just try it. Da-dum. I lost track of how many stall bashes I did. That's bad. Now I probably screwed it up. But we're definitely gonna try, now that I stand in front of the store. There are two! Oh my god, I can't believe that worked. The bash flash makes it so hard to even see anything. Oh no, it's breaking! Ah, oh, this is so hard! Quite stressful, I must say. How am I gonna... I need to make distance between the projectiles in order to redirect this one. Nope. Yeah, the bash flash makes it nearly impossible to see where things are. That is one difficulty of this. Alright, so that's 2 times I got the double warp shot itself. Kinda far right. Yeah, whatever. Wasn't confident about that one either way. It might be too high. I tried to delay it a bit. But that's still just probably too high, yeah. La 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 la. This looks pretty good. Now only got a teleport. Probably too high. I don't think that's gonna work. That's really good. Let's go. Okay, fair bit away from 54. Let's try entering at 25 with 2 extra bashes. 25, 2 extra. Actually, let's think about this later. 25. Two extra. 25 on the clock. Welcome, Metoxy. Welcome, people who came with Metoxy. Just give me one moment. $25. Enter. Okay. Next time. Alright, welcome Metoxy. Thank you for the raid. You were playing Sarah's Plando, if I'm not mistaken. How did it go? This might be bad. Are those too low? They might be fine. Fine, it's a nice idea, to be honest. Am I finishing today? There is a non-zero chance that I'm finishing today. Yes. But I don't think it's a very high chance either. Oh, this will be hard to time. Let's just kinda enter at 45 on the clock. I have already broken, wait, what? 45, 45, 45. I've already broken one further wall in the final escape, which was what I set as my goal today, but I got it in like 15 minutes, which was pretty incredible. So now I'm actually trying attempts at the very final sequence of the final trick. Just gotta double bash, juggle 2 projectiles through half of the final escape. Exactly. There is no Baneling. So the problem is I have to heal here, and I think I can't make it in time now if I have to heal and the Baneling isn't there. And I have no idea when and why the Baneling isn't there. It's a bit weird. This is never gonna work. Never ever. Oh, actually I did make it in time. But I didn't pay attention to my bash count enough. Oh, I have something though? No, it was too low. Interesting. There also was just one projectile. There's so many issues with this. So dude that got struck by lightning multiple times in the course of minutes. Chances for that were also low. But he did it. Did you know that you can get struck by lightning in this game, Mitoxy? Completely unrelated side question. That's probably too far right and too low, to be honest, and just generally never going to work. Can you? You don't know? Hold on. Multiple times in a minute even? Yes, you can get struck by lightning multiple times per minute in this. And as such we begin our long journey to get struck by lightning. Such a beautiful scenery, isn't it? Alright, we got struck by lightning. It's like way too low though, isn't it? I feel like that's too low. You can outrun that lightning. Things you can do in Ori and the Blind Forest. Get struck by lightning, outrun the lightning. Ori has everything, doesn't it? Ori 1 does not, in fact, have a fishing minigame. I'm not sure how the developers made an oversight that big. But they made up for it a little, because you can go fishing in Ori and the Will of the Wisps, at least. Aren't those way too low? They probably are. Well, then those are also gonna be way too low. I have to adjust. Can't go fishing with depth charges. Lift Up did that strategy right. I lured a health drop from a spider, but Lift Off actually went fishing and threw grenade into the water until it killed a fish. For that to drop health. Also works, but it was pretty annoying, to be honest. I mean, I guess it was just slow paced, like fishing. All on brand. Let's enter at 08. Ba-dum-da. 08, I said. I believe. Yay! I believed! Oh no! The second shot broke on the floor though. It must have been just slightly too low. That's unfortunate. So yeah, I want to get 2 spider projectiles here. And I want to redirect them both all the time, get both the spider projectile around all these corners. Make sure that neither of them gets destroyed by that rock. Make sure that both of them get past this lava pillar. Same thing really. And then this one's a bit tricky here. Yeah, I think you just have to kind of walk through. And then one of them destroys this, the other one destroys this, and then the elemental should give me a projectile to go further. That's the plan. And I know this is possible because I've already caught 2 spider projectiles in the starting room of the final escape twice. And just haven't gotten, this is too low, the double bash sequence, guiding them both through. Which, to be fair, I've never done. I've never juggled 2 spider projectiles. Too low. Ba-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. One of them might be too low. I think one of them's too low. Maybe this works, actually. I don't know how to time this. That's gonna be awkward. Better to go a bit too early, right? So let's just do 1 bash and enter at 09. So last time, 09 is what I said, this somehow worked. I had to lure this Baneling over and I still made it in time. So I guess that works. Yeah, it does. Just barely. That's good. Ow! I think there was just 1 projectile anyway. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da. That might have been good. Way too low. La 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 la. Let's try this. Seems alright. Okay, enter at 24. Twenty-four, 24. I need this one. Quite strongly need that one. Da 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 da. One of them broke. Yeah. That's something I initially mentioned. It's gonna be really difficult to get 2 spider projectiles through this rock. Because they're really weird. Like, they break the moment the rock starts to fall down. They don't even break on the rock itself. It's quite strange. Da da dum, ba da dum. Anyway. Dum, da, dum. Paused kinda late. .43 is when I wanna enter. Cool. Should be fine now. Yeah, I was angled too high. Wasn't able to catch that anymore. But my first attempt at this was so good. Damageless Pog? Oh, they're kinda low though. That's probably why it was damageless, they were just kinda too low. Dum, ba. Okay, let's enter at 43 again. Da-dum. Dum, da-dum, da. Go! Oh. I don't know. I guess sometimes my brain just does something wrong in the math, because that was just exactly 1 second too late. I don't really know why. Gotta do the math right if you wanna catch spider shots in the Horu escape entrance room. Ba. I'm starting to get pretty consistent with my movement, which is convenient because I now just always enter at 43. I have to think less about it. No! Well, I caught one, but the other one hit me in the face. So that must have been slightly too late. No! Ah, help! Issues you don't have on a keyboard and mouse. Bum, ba. The teleporting out part is not trivial. Kinda low. Yeah, and if the second shot is kinda low, that's a death sentence, because the second shot takes me longer to catch. And it goes even farther across the ground and runs into some bumps that the first shot doesn't have to worry about. Whoa! Getting real fast at this. Hmm. Let's just do one less bash. And enter it 19? That should work. Here, this bash I can do less. One of them must have broken back in sorrow. Whoops. Huh. Not entirely sure what that was. Be fine. Not perfect, but pretty good. If I enter at 53, am I gonna be too late? Let's find out. Well, screwed up the pause anyway. How do I handle this? Okay, good. Okay, now they should be fine. Through the first rock. I'll try to do a more horizontal angle on this so I can catch it later. Like that. I just want to catch this one again. Swap shots. Get them over here. The angles are pretty good on this. I have to adjust this one now. A bit downwards. I have to use the ground here before I'm all in the air and I can't swap shots anymore. Okay. Start directing into there. Damage is not good, but I don't think it's fatal either. The shots are pretty far apart. I don't really like that. Let's take care that I trigger the rock pretty late. Okay, I kinda wanna do a back and forth here, so the camera has time to move. I gotta swap shots before this one breaks at the floor. Okay. Now there's the lava pillar. I think it's gonna be gone soon. I'm gonna use a lantern to swap projectiles as I need to. I'm not sure what I do here. Let me try to aim at the wall directly. If at all possible. I can adjust this a bit. Camera, please. Use the wall so I don't fall. Try to get onto this wall to trigger the elemental sooner. Don't panic. I don't know exactly when this will despawn. That's an issue, because it might despawn on me then. Let's wait for the camera. But I have some spare health. I do have clean water. Don't despawn on me, by the way. Okay, that's fine. It was not, in fact, fine. What's the plan for that room? Not sure I've been in that room with just Bash before. Hi Jay Halkin, welcome. I was close. Yeah, that was. Hi Tukel. Okay. So Kuro doesn't get aggressive as long as you stay up top. There are multiple things you can do here. You can wait at the top. There's not gonna be any fire. You can do this so that you refill health. That shouldn't matter here, but I guess it could be convenient. And then you could try to use a mortar shot instead of an elemental shot, because mortar shots move faster, and that means you can bring them downwards more easily. The elemental shot is actually terrible to try and bring downwards. And also, since the elemental projectile travels slower, I will be traveling slower and I will be in greater risk of Kuro killing me. So I think what I wanted to do there was to give up the elemental projectile and carry a mortar projectile instead. Bum, ba-dum, da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. The top right mortar is pretty aggressive, so I don't think getting the projectile would be the issue. You can also do this room skill-less, I think. But I also think it's really difficult, so it probably wouldn't be preferable. Okay. Ooh, here we go. Those were such good projectiles. If only I could press the teleport button at the correct time. That was a bad jump onto the teleporter. Was too slow. Could be good. Kinda wanna see them. No, couldn't really see them anyway. Bit away from 42, let's do one extra bash. Enter at 13. That's the extra bash. Now enter at 13. Back to back. Let's go. We need that consistency. I don't know which one I have. Okay, I had that one. That's actually really convenient. Let's just move on through. One of them is kinda high angled. Let me swap shots using the ground. Should be fine. I'll bring this one up. I have very little time here before this hits the rock. I can't believe that worked. Okay. Catch this one using this ceiling. But now I'm somewhat out of sync here. Maybe I should do a back and forth. This is bad. This is in fact pretty bad. Let me go up towards the ceiling a little bit. No. That wasn't salvageable anymore. Whew, you really need to keep a good rhythm there. That was probably salvageable somehow, but it went beyond what I could handle. Alright. What about a 3 streak of double warp shot? Wouldn't that be nice? 1 extra bash, 43 entrance. 43, 1 extra. There's no Baneling, so I'm under time pressure. Is it? The triple? I don't see the other projectile though. No, I just have 1 projectile. No 3 streak. Pretty high up, but I paused pretty early, so it could work. Ooh. Let's just enter at 44 then. Forty-four, 44. I forgot my reasoning why I wanted to enter at 44. I'm not sure this will work. So I have everything lapped out and just need to do it now. The science-heavy parts are mostly over. Yeah, it's possible that there'll be some trip-ups on the way, like the elemental projectile versus mortar projectile thing. Yeah. Forgot my reasoning, and it probably wasn't good reasoning. But like, the really science-heavy part that needs tons and tons of setup work are the warp shots. And these warp shots work. Now it's just the very high execution burden of carrying 2 spider shots at once. Not something you usually do. $45. I'm using Will-O-Wisps, Bash Binds for controller. So this is the first time I'm like actively playing Blind Forest on controller. at all. And the default bash bind was horrible, absolutely terrible, unplayable to be honest. And I felt that immediately. And then Epic in the chat suggested to bind bash to the right bumper instead, and that worked really well, so that's what I have now. I don't know the Will of the Wisps binds, so if so that's a coincidence, or maybe just that Moon also realized in Ori 2 that would just be better. Nope, lost one. I kinda couldn't use Y for bash in Ori 2. Again, I don't know the button layout at all. Whatever the reasoning, apparently yes. I am using Ori 2 bash binds. I feel like this shot is gonna break because it's so high up and I didn't really pause fast enough. I got hit, I believe, yes. Ori 2 uses X, Y, B as weapon wheel stuff, and then A still as jump, I guess. Same story. Did I place it too low? I don't know whether this is too low, so I'll try it to gain more knowledge. Let's do one less bash and enter at 57. Nothing at all. That's weird. That should not be a consequence of placing the projectiles too low. That doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know why there would ever be nothing at all. Like, I can't screw up the angle. That's why I use a controller. And I think that I have a reasonable feeling for whether they break before the turret despawns. But maybe there's just some detail I haven't considered ever. One extra bash. 45. Maybe I do this pause too briefly. Got something. Where's the second projectile? I believe it's right there. Okay, get them through the Tight Rock corridor. I have to switch projectiles somehow. It was a slow switch. Let's go to the one in the back so I don't trigger the rock too early. Like that. Bring this upwards. Angle it somewhat horizontally though, so I can still catch it. I can't see the other one. This might be a fake bash. It was a fake bash! Oh my god, I'm so glad I realized that. Wow, what a save. You probably didn't see at all what I meant, but believe me, that was a pretty cool save. No! Other one! Swap! They're really far apart. It's gonna be difficult to handle when going through the rock. We do a bit of a zigzag here, so I have them closer to each other. Like that. It's impossible to tell which projectile I'm grabbing, but I think I have them both through here. I don't know whether I redirected the right one. Okay, cool, I did. Camera, please. Camera, please! Oh my god. Okay. Get them up there. Okay. Take two at this, I suppose. For now, just get them up, get them up, get them up. All good, all good. This is not a pleasant situation. Let's swap using the ceiling. Angle this at the wall directly. Follow behind. Flew away. I have to be really careful there, because if I go in front of the projectiles, then Kuro makes the log fall down and it destroys the projectiles. But obviously it's a tight walk. A tight rope to walk. So I don't run behind the projectile with no hope of ever catching it again. It looked really cool from the outside as well, don't worry. I can imagine, and I'm glad it does. Almost 13. I might be too late if I just enter at 44, so let's do an extra bash. Two, three. Cool, I have them both. Oop, almost destroyed that one. Careful. Watch out. Okay, I have this scenario again. I know how to handle it. Well, turns out I didn't know how to handle it. Ba-dum. feel like that's very far right. I haven't had a lot of success with those. Something like this is much more reliable. And retrying here doesn't take so long. Waiting for them on the other side does take long. I'm not sure what to do with this. Either I do two... Either I do... I think I do one bash less and enter at 54. 54, one less. Okay, be really careful about triggering the rock. Should be fine now. I believe the other one is flying into the ground right now. Let's prevent that. I have very little time here. Okay. Managed to use the rock to swap shots. Okay, okay, good, good. Wonderful. Let's use the ground here because the other one is too high. Nice. Actually, I want this one close to the ground so I can swap. Da, 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 dum, da, 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 la, 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 la. How do I swap here? I think I have to do an aerial swap. Now these are pretty far apart, which makes this ever so much more difficult. Let's do a zigzag, otherwise I'd be worried about the camera here. Yeah, I couldn't see. I couldn't tell. I should have trusted logic. Like, obviously I couldn't see which projectile I caught. And the problem was, it looked to me as though I caught the wrong projectile. But that was an illogical assumption. I bashed towards the ground, so I would have to be closer to the projectile that's closer to the ground, and I should have just trusted that logic. My eyes are not very good if everything is just overlaid with big white circles that block out everything. In that case, my logic might be better able to tell me what's happening. Bum ba bum da. Okay, just enter at 43 easy. No Baneling. Oh, the fake bash. Haven't had that one in a while. Yeah, I angled that too high. So I couldn't catch it anymore. Can't believe I got that. They're pretty far up, but I also paused early, so it should be fine. Okay, 43 again. This is basically exactly the last attempt. Hopefully without the fake bash, though. Yep. Okay. I'm starting to understand the mechanisms that are involved when juggling two spider projectiles. I'm not sure I can use the rock there, let's just use the ceiling. Yeah, that was so much more comfortable. Da, la, 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 da, 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 dum, da, 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 na, 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 na. Oh, I didn't want you. I wanted you. Perfect. Do I do the zigzag? I guess I do. This one was really clean. No cool saves, no crazy improvisations. Was really just very clean. Until now. Bounce head into ceiling, that was so much more comfortable. Alright, Kuro, you got me. Alright, let's adopt the bonk head into ceiling for that extra comfiness. Bash makes Kuro noises so wrong. Yeah, you can't trust the Kuro noises. It always sounds like you're gonna die in a second if you bash a lot. But it's just not true. Bum ba dum. Tink. What a tiny emote. What does it actually display? Tink. Oh, it's like a bonk, isn't it? But a tink. Because it's just a tiny mouse. Is that what it is? Almost 31. Let's do one bash, enter, add 02. Baneling. Mouse missing its hole, yeah. And tink is the sound, I assume. Da, da. That leads back to work. Hope to catch the end. Oh wow, I'm so close. Hold on. Alright, thanks for sticking around. Oh, this is bad. Mid-air swaps are difficult. Should just be fine now, right? Yeah. But that was unsavable. The more off course you get with these projectile juggles, the harder it is to recover. If the shots just have vastly different angles, getting them together again... Well, if you have open space, sure, but... Well, you're also... That's way too far, right? Trying to get through a rock before it falls. It's tough. I'm very happy, by the way, and I just want to appreciate that. How quickly I could develop setups that are pretty consistent for this. I think that saved me so much time. Like, this is the trick that Tuan said took 2 weeks. I don't think it will take me 2 weeks, just because I could find such convenient setups. It is great. 43. And I think I do an extra bash, but that's a really awkward timing. When did I start? 65 hours sounds about right, but I don't really know. My feeling for this is starting to be really good. In regards to how many bashes I have to do. Alright, do the aerial swap. I missed it again. Now I have to try the recovery again that I failed just before. Okay, much better. I think this works. Okay. Ding! Da 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 dum dum ba da 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 dum da 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 dum bum ba da da da. Rock? Could you not? That's kind of rude. No! Should have used the ceiling. Yeah, those were so far apart. It was gonna be difficult to recover from. That seems kinda high. Let's delay it a little bit. Yeah, I think that was a valuable correction. Now it seems pretty good. 43 with 1 extra bash. I was so far away, it wasn't even a fake bash anymore. That was just no bash at all. Careful, can't afford a hit by the spider now. I suspect that indeed one issue I had before was that I just didn't pause long enough when entering Horu. It got a lot more consistent when I started pausing longer there. I only see one. No, there is the other. Wait, which one do I... Oh my god! Why is Bash so jank? I got confused by that. That was salvageable, I just had to interpret the signs correctly. Bash bugging for the win? Yeah, there was actually an advantageous bash bug. I just didn't react accordingly. Do we rate difficulty by how many attempts it takes to get the trick? Well, I do think attempt length plays a role, right? Because it's harder to keep up the stamina, the patience, the motivation, etc. I don't think there's a simple definition for difficulty. Maybe the devs didn't intend you to juggle multiple projectiles? I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that sometimes two things will be in your bash range. And the bash bug is like just a result of unclean coding, I'd say. But yeah, it's also very useful for tasks specifically, and sometimes for RTA. We take glitches. We are speedrunners. Almost 16. I have experience with this. This used to be an awkward timing, but it seems to work if I enter at 47 and do 1 extra bash. $47, 1 extra. Ba, 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 ba. Also, it doesn't matter which of the two things you bash in a casual setting. Not on the grand scale, no. It's just like maybe one weird death where you're like, what just happened? That was weird. And then you move on because it doesn't happen very often. What if I just swap now instead? No! Like, did you see that? It just breaks. It's so rude. That's why you have to be so careful around all the falling rocks and logs and stuff. Whoops. I feel like sometimes the spider's just different, but maybe I also jump different or something. Whoops. No, I don't think that's too low. Should be fine. Yeah, that should be fine. 54, I guess? One. That's just one projectile. Can't expect an enemy to behave the same way on the same save. Well, like, enemy animation doesn't even get saved, so... I guess your position gets saved and that indirectly influences it. It's usually the same, so I'm guessing when it's different I just jump at a different time and don't realize it, but no idea. It was too low anyway. Well, this is probably too high. Can I adjust? No, I don't think that works. I mean, it was the second projectile. I guess if the second projectile is very high, that's actually fine. If the first projectile would be that high, I'd be worried that it breaks at the ceiling off screen. For the second one, that probably would have been fine. Ba-dum, da-dum, da. I'm not confident. That's somewhere on the edge. A while ago I would have tried that, but now I feel like I can get a better setup relatively quickly. Oh, this one is way too far right. Gotta angle this left a little bit. Like that. Bum, ba, dum, da. Ooh, kind of far right. Don't trust it. Probably also kind of far right. I got to the teleporter really well. That works. I have no experience with this timing. I don't think I've hit this exact part of the second before. I feel like it's harder to go too early than it is to go too late. So let's do an extra bash and enter at 02. Nice. Literally no part of this is to be underestimated. That was almost a really good teleporter entry. Ba-dum, da, dum, da, da. Enter at 53. Oh my god! Why is it? Oh my god! I might have missed it! Oh no, that was actually too early. I must have miscalculated, so that's why it was so tight. I just must have miscalculated by a second. It was a bad teleporter jump. Too slow. Bum, bum. I wonder what setup Turin did here. Like, that's one interesting thing about warp shots. There's so many different potential setups that if two people try to figure something out individually, they're probably coming to different results. No, one less bash is something I can do. Yeah, one less bash, 43. Dum, ba. Almost just like entered because it's a door and it looks like fun to enter it. It's really hard with the setup to swap. I gotta do something else. Let me keep the second projectile on the floor a bit longer. I feel like that might help, because then they're further apart. And then I might be better able to control which one I bash off. One less bash, 41. There are multiple reasons why this is mentally demanding. And our core reason is quite simply, I don't do the same thing every time. I have to adjust to the exact timer. And that's like just a lot more effort than doing the same thing again and again and again. Okay, let's keep this on the ground a bit longer, as I suggested. And then this swap is easy, because they're further apart. Ooh. I, like, absolutely did not... Oh, now I see it on the replay. Yeah, that was a fake bash indeed. Bash too far right. Dum ba da da. Bum bum ba da da dum dum. Yeah, it's really cool how close I got, but this is actually pretty mentally demanding. And I think I could do better if I do the finish tomorrow. And this does look like I have a good shot at finishing tomorrow. How many days have I been playing this now? I don't remember when I started. Da dum da dum ba dum ba dum bum bum ba da dum bum ba dum. This was day 12. Oh, I should highlight these probably. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 days is what that would be. What if someone catches up with me before tomorrow? Well then, good job them. Gotta commend the effort. I got this, you feel it? I feel it too. I do have this. But I also feel like, I don't know. I already made a great progress today, which is breaking that wall. I'm completely fine with that. I can just do the finish tomorrow. Next closest person is everyone at node 9. Yep. Node 9, sure is something. Dum ba dum dum. Bum bum ba dum bum ba dum ba. Alright, that was very cool. I now have all the parts assembled. Can't wait until it all actually comes together. Da dum dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. Liftoff isn't playing the Plando anymore. I'm curious to see what progress Liftoff has made. Not online anymore though. Alright. In that case, to everyone who was here, thank you very much. Liftoff is still on the frog trick, yeah, that's completely fair. Tomorrow I shall attempt to finish the Plandomizer. Maybe I'll see some of you again. Until then, have a wonderful time. Take care. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Alright, until next time. Bye-bye.